Okay, it's 7 o'clock. Have you taken a roll?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If everyone could mute their microphone unless they're speaking, it makes it a little easier sometimes for everybody to hear. So we would appreciate that. So we have some people with us tonight on special sections. We have in planning on the agenda on 3, that's the ordinance,
The ordinance.
E. Okay, the ordinance to rezone the 3 properties. If no one objects, if none of the board members object, I think we'll take up 3E first since we have some guests here for that. If you'd like to review that, Bob.
Yes, sir. All right. There are 3 properties one of them is on Jernigan Drive, and 2 of them are just off of Jernigan Drive. And I'll show you those properties. The first one is this property out here, number 4. You can see it on your screen, which is attached to Jernigan Drive. And you can see that currently it is high density residential, and they would like to rezone that to multifamily residential. And you can see the other zonings in the area of the attached properties. I'll show you the next one. The next one is this little bitty 1 acre piece of property that attaches to Lock Road from that property down here. That's currently light manufacturing, and they would like to rezone that to multifamily residential. And then the main property is right here, which is number 32. And you can see this little property here that attaches to Lock Road, and the smaller property here that attaches to Jernigan Drive, and how all 3 of those properties kind of fit together. So what they want to do is they want to take them from their various zonings to multifamily residential for the purpose of building an apartment complex back here on the rear part of this lot back here, where you can see my cursor kind of going around back there. The Planning Commission reviewed this request and has recommended to the board to rezone this property, those 3 properties, to multifamily residential.
We have representatives with us tonight from the company that is looking at that property. Would y'all like to address the board?
Sure. My name is Charles Pope. I'm with Olympia Construction. We are based in Albertville, Alabama, and we are an apartment developer. We develop all across the Southeast, but we would like to develop apartment complex there in Somerville on this property. The project will be funded via low-income housing tax credits, and be similar to what you have in place currently on that street. We're looking at anywhere from say 56 to 64 units there on that site. It'll be a family project, 1, 2, and 3 bedroom apartment units. More than likely be a 2-story walk-up project. It'll be a very nice project, something I think that you'll be very happy with. I'm very pleased. It'll meet the needs of your community as far as providing a housing that's affordable to the working community. I'd like to say, if we were to come in and build a conventional project in your community, rents are going to be $1,100, $1,200 a unit, and most of your working class people can afford those rents. But with these, we're going to have rents in the $500 to $600 a month range, and that's affordable to your working class population. And I think it's something that you'll be happy with, and that will meet the needs of your community.
Thank you. This was recommended by the Planning Commission. Of course, this is just a workshop tonight, so we won't actually take any votes. We make the board aware tonight of what's going on and what will be on the agenda for next week, and give them a chance to discuss things, but we don't We don't actually take any votes on anything tonight.
Okay.
Are there board members who have questions or would like to comment about this project?
Mr. Pope, Mike French, I'm an alderman. Would
Yeah.
there be both ingress and egress on Lot Drive and Jernigan both?
We are planning to have access, ingress and egress on Jernigan Drive. I guess as an alternate, we will not have both. We just have one. We like one entry, one exit on our property. That helps with control of problems. We don't like people to be able to drive through and circle through the project. So we're planning to come off Jernigan, but as an alternative, if we needed something didn't work on Jernigan, if we needed to, we could come access off of the other street.
Thank you.
I got a question. Jason Hamilton, Alderman. Do you have any drawings that we might can look at to see what the designs of the apartments look like?
Yes, we can give you some. I can send out an email with some drawings from similar projects that we done for what we expect to put on this property. Be happy to do that. We also can
Yeah.
get some pictures, photos as well.
Yeah, if you send me that stuff,
Okay.
I can put it in the packet for the board meeting next week for discussion.
Okay.
Charles,
Be
just
be
send it
glad
to
to
me.
do it.
Yes, sir.
I can get that out to you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
James Lofties, Alderperson. What type of green space would that encompass?
Well, we've got a lot of excess land there. We actually don't need that much acreage. So there will be a significant amount of green space on that property. I apologize. I don't remember right offhand, but I think it was 13 acres or so, if I remember correctly. But yeah, there will be a significant amount of green space as we won't utilize all of the site.
And there's a lot of trees already there that you probably won't be taking down around the edges of the property.
That's right. We'll leave
Yeah.
trees up as buffers. There's a field. It's got some slope to it, so we'll have to do some site work. But and then on the eastern side of the property, it drops off significantly there on the backside, and so that I anticipate that will be remain as green space as well.
Will there be sidewalks out to Jernigan?
I'm sorry, ask that one more time.
Would there be sidewalks out to Jernigan?
Yeah, if that's something that the city is asking for, then we can, we'll have sidewalks on our property. But if you want sidewalks along Jernigan, that's not a problem at all. If I remember correctly, there's not sidewalks there existing. But you know,
No. But there is a plan to install them at some point in the future because of all those apartments that are along that road right there.
sure.
A lot of people walk down that road and go to 64 or whatever to go places.
Yeah.
So,
And yeah, that won't be a problem. We routinely have that asked, and we can certainly put sidewalks along the street. And that's something that would benefit our tenants. So we certainly we'd be open to that.
Are y'all planning on putting any kind of like recreation activities?
Yes,
that
we'll
the
have
residents can do?
a playground on the property. We'll also have a gazebo and it also will have a picnic pavilion with picnic tables and grills. There'll be benches as well. The community building will have a computer center. It'll have a workout center, exercise center as well, in addition to laundry facility. So the clubhouse will have room so the tenants can have, if they want to have a family party or a reception or it's some kind of event, there will be kitchen facilities there. And so, of course, the management will be hosting parties parties and meetings there, but the tenant can use it as well if they have a need for it.
Would you mind including all that in with the pictures? Just make it a packet of what we'll be looking at, if you don't mind.
That's right.
Please.
Well, sure, be glad to. I can do a write-up kind of detailing what the property will contain as far as the amenities. Glad to do that.
Okay, thank you.
Bob, could you pull the map back up again?
Yep. Sorry, Mayor. This map here?
Yes. Just for the board, the way that property is, if I'm correct, Mr. Pope, the vast majority of the buildings will be in that area that's kind of in the center of the property, right along in there. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, and what I anticipate is on the Jernigan Drive, that parcel that is 4.00, we will have our management office community building will be on that site, and of course the entrance will be there. Sorry, entrance will be there, and then just beyond that, you have a power line and a sewer line that goes through on the larger parcel, the 32.00 on the west side of that. That's power
Right here.
line and sewer. So there's not a whole lot we can do right in there. And so we'll have an access road that comes back across there's a little low spot there. We'll probably build that up to get access. And then where you see that field, I think that's where the predominantly the residential buildings will be located.
Yeah, the power line's right here. You can kind of see it on the map a little bit.
Yeah.
And the sewer line runs right near there. And there's actually a manhole on the property right around here somewhere.
Yes. Yeah. And on the Jernigan side, they'll have a community building. There will be a mail center, the garbage facility will be located there. And then you'll have the access road that goes back to where the residential buildings will be more in the central area of the larger site.
Okay, are there any other questions from the board? Okay, well, Mr. Pope will provide us with the additional information y'all have requested for next week's meeting. And that will be the first reading on the ordinance, which has been recommended by the Planning Commission. If there are no more questions, we appreciate you being with us, and you're certainly welcome to stay if you want to attend the meeting, or you can feel free to go about your business, whichever
well, thank
one
you
you'd
very
like to
much.
do.
We very much appreciate you considering this. We're excited about the possibility of coming to Somerville, and look forward to talking to you next week.
Okay, do I remember correctly that probably you're looking at March or April
Okay,
before
yeah.
you'd actually know when this
The
would work?
application is due March the 3rd, and then we'll probably know 3 or 4 months later when the awards will come out from Tennessee,
Okay.
probably some around I'm saying June or July timeframe. We'll know if we get the application funded.
Okay. All right, well, thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. We'll see you next week, and I'll get that information out right away.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next item that we will move to is with Andy is with us on the design of the museum. That is F, I guess. Planning
Yes, sir.
3F.
Sorry, it's F. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, would you and
Great.
Andy like to take it from there?
Thank you. I'm Andy Kitzinger. I'm an architect and planner, and our firm, the Development Studio, is serving as on-call architectural services for the town. And this particular project, we're working on the architectural design for the restoration of the storefront for the museum building there. The existing storefront is currently an aluminum single pane glass that was installed probably in the early 50s. So this effort is to bring back the original historic wood frame storefront. And last time there was a request to also replace the arched window eyebrows on the second floor. And we've got that identified as part of the scope of work. And Bob was able to take some photographs of the original terracotta eyebrows for those windows, that detailing. Bob, if you want to go to another slide, is there a, yes.
This slide here, Andy?
Let's show the existing photograph.
Okay.
Again, the aluminum storefront, I'm sure you guys are familiar with what currently exists. There's 2 bays, and then the single door goes on the east side, goes up to the second floor access, but that shows an existing aluminum frame in the smaller photograph, and then what's conceptually what's being proposed in the lower photograph. Let me go to the next one. So we're replacing and removing the entire storefront along with the brick facade down below, and actually moving the line of the glass storefront back a little bit and lining it up as part of the detailing for it will expose these cast iron columns, the existing historic cast iron columns on either side of the door. You want to go on to the next slide. So this will replace the brick underneath the 1950s installation under the windows, and it'll have a wood panel, solid wood panel that will match the door panels. So all the glass will be double glazed insulated glass, and so the doors will be a pair of double doors into each bay, and then a single door to go upstairs. So we've been working with, that's just a panel door detail for the solid panel door. We've been working with a premier contractor out of Memphis, and they've helped us with some cost estimating for budgeting purposes. We've got a detailed breakdown. The storefront replacement and restoration, including the demolition, is approximately $85,000. And then we've got a contingency in that number. And then we've also pulled out a price for
That's the wrong thing. I got the wrong thing on there, I think.
Yeah, that's
I have the wrong thing on there, sorry.
We've also got a price on the replacing the arched second floor arched eyebrow detailing, and that's $23,000. So $108,000 total.
There it is. I have it now, Andy. Here's you. Sorry.
Great. And Premier Contractors has done a lot of historic renovation work. They own several historic buildings in the Edge District in Memphis. And so they're very experienced in it. They would actually come and bring their crew there if they're awarded the project and stay in town during the construction. Our schedule is we would complete the documents if that budget works for you guys. Complete the documents and specs in February, and have bid documents that would be available for your approval, and then put it out for bid in March. Receive bids and hopefully start construction in April, and we should have the project completed in May.
Really? Just 1 month?
Yes.
Okay.
So all of the doors would be the only manufactured piece. All of the windows would be ordered glass, and then the carpentry framing would all be done on site for the windows.
So they wouldn't build that and then basically set it in there and then put the windows in? They'd build it right there?
Yeah, so it the frames would they're gonna set up. They're not gonna be manufactured and installed, or manufacture prefabricated windows. They'll be all custom built windows.
Andy, since this is on Highway 64, have you considered traffic control type situation there when you're actually doing the demo work or during the construction?
So they're only gonna need half of the sidewalk. So they had anticipated building a barrier and leaving half the sidewalk open.
Okay.
And, they will need to have the first 10 feet or so inside the building in both bays. So we'll need to coordinate with the Delta Human Resource Agency to get access to that front bay during that construction.
Yeah, we'll have to talk to them because I don't know exactly how they would enter the building. I get there is a side door over there that they could enter. I know I've seen them go in that side door before, but I don't know what kind of ADA access they have there on that side door. We may have to create something for them temporarily.
I wouldn't, I don't think that'd be a problem.
Okay.
Okay, does anyone have any questions?
I have a question, Andy. Are there 3 contractors that can do this, that can give us prices?
We
can bid on it?
will definitely invite multiple contractors and see who can respond.
Okay.
That's
Just
the
wondering.
challenge these days.
Yes, it is. Well, there are
everyone's
multiple
busy.
contractors that do this type of work. That build stuff on site and that kind of thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So we'll open it up for open bidding, but we'll definitely reach out and invite several contractors to see if we can get multiple pricing.
Okay.
Okay, does anyone have any questions?
Do we need to approve this, or we just need to go ahead and let them draw the specs up and
Well,
bring it
no,
back to the February meeting?
No, we need to bring it to the board on Monday night
All
to
right.
decide if they're comfortable with that, and then we would go from there.
Okay.
No votes tonight.
No, I know that.
And
Okay.
we did not have that pricing in our packet, so
I didn't get it till after I sent out the packet, so I just put it, here it is on the
Okay.
screen right here.
Okay,
And
well,
Andy
we'll-
added some contingency on his, on, when he gave me his email, but I don't have that, happen to have that right at the moment.
Okay, if we could have all of that for the board meeting.
Yes, sir.
packet.
Andy, Mike French, would the eyebrows be terracotta? I mean, I see laminated wood on the spec also.
Yes, because of the, I said yes. Actually, no, we were proposing that it be ornamental wood painted rather than trying to recreate the terracotta. So there are several terracotta pieces that were salvaged, but they would have to be cast, and so with the weight of that and installing it, we're proposing a wood profile that is decorative with a similar Italianate decorative in the
Similar,
same
but not the
model.
same exactly. It's going to be similar, but not the same.
We'll have to see if we can get it tooled to get as close as possible.
Okay, thank you.
Is there
Yeah.
any other material that we could use to do that, Andy?
There's a FIPON material, but their profiles are much more limited. You know, that's a synthetic material. But we think we can get the best match with a wood, with carved wood component.
Bob, would you show that picture of the
I was looking for it,
terracotta?
Mayor. I don't see it. I don't know
Well,
why.
it was in our
I had
packet,
it.
I thought.
I had it. I
It's-
just couldn't find it.
It's in the packet just past.
Oh, is it? I'm sorry. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
it's-
Right down here at the bottom.
Okay, hang on a second. I'm working on it.
Just scroll down.
There you
There
go.
you go.
Whoops, sorry.
Is that what it would look like? As a wood?
Well, that's
or
the old one.
That's
so-
the old one.
Right, and
Could-
believe me,
could-
it weighs a pretty good amount. Just moving it around to get it in position. It was, it has weight to it.
Could it be in a material that wouldn't rot over time?
Like a polystyrene or something like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, wouldn't
Um,
that be better? I mean, those look real.
Yeah,
Andy?
we could look for another material, with a sealed
Okay, I think, here, there we
painted
go.
wood.
All right, and then
it-
figured it out. 1 second, we're not ignoring you. Oh, you know what? Hold on. We'll turn on live notifications. So
Uh,
if you're not, if you
Tina,
have to turn on,
Tina, you're,
welcome neighbor.
if you could go on mute, please.
Sorry.
we don't know if we could find that in a terracotta, but we could continue to look for a resin material that would be more durable than the wood.
I would think
Yeah.
they could make a impression of that exact thing and fill it and use it. I might be wrong. I don't know about building stuff, but
Yeah, we know that we could cast it. We want to try to keep it a lightweight material, so we'll see what we can cast it that would be lightweight and durable.
okay.
Andy, Mike French, Narell Plastics out on off of Winchester and Tullahoma. I've seen them do things like that.
Who was that, Mike?
Narell Plastics. It's at
No.
in a little commercial center at Tullahoma and Winchester.
There's
Great,
a
I'll
place
look them
between
up.
Piperton and Collierville too that does a beautiful job.
What was the
Between-
second one?
Between Piperton and Collierville, I can't think of the name of the road right now, but this is what they specialize in.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Is that
Beautiful
back in
thing.
that industrial area, Sandra?
Kind of, yeah.
At the beginning of Collierville?
Mm-hmm. It's down from the new place, it's right there on the Fayette County line.
AOC, is it close to AOC?
Mm,
That's the big building on the right-hand side if you're coming from Rossville to,
That's the old
well,
chemical plant?
Yeah.
yeah, it's back down in there. But this place is in Collierville itself. It's not in Piperton. It's just right before you cross the line. It's a huge place.
Well, we were
And they-
looking at those two options and then try to get an alternative manufacturer for you guys.
Okay.
Okay.
I know
Any
they
other-
do very much quality work.
And it might be less expensive too. If they can cast it, and I don't know how prices go, but I'm just,
Andy, did you measure each window upstairs?
We did not measure every window. We measured a couple of them.
Did you measure the window that looks like it used to be a door?
Yes, I think we did.
Was it a little bit narrower than the other ones?
I'll
Or
have
was
to
it the
look
same
back
size?
I'll have to
Yeah.
look back at our field notes.
I would imagine you want to make the eyebrow the same to have it anyway, even if it is a little narrower, you probably want it to look uniform up there.
Right.
It just appears to me to be narrower, but that just might be an optical illusion because of the base of that one window, that being wood down there.
I think that's what it is. I think it's an optical illusion because
Yeah.
of that board up under there.
Yeah, I think so too.
Would that have been a door at one point, Andy? Can you speculate on that? Or would-
Yes, we think it was possibly a balcony at one time, similar to Farmer's Hardware across the square. That was probably access to that balcony.
Okay. Are there any other questions? Okay, well, we will take this up at the board then on Monday night. To discuss and make a decision on.
Well, great. This input's been very helpful for us. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we will go back to the start of the agenda. The finance section.
Yep,
Bob,
everything seems to be rolling along just fine. I don't see any surprises. Are there any specific questions about any of the financials? You can see that general fund is a little bit ahead of where we would be at this time of the year, considering that we have not that much in property tax collection at this point. I think we're pretty much on pace to probably exceed what we would have budgeted for originally, even with this COVID thing. So the general fund is moving along just fine at this moment. You can see the cash flow right now where we are here on that tan line compared to what we budgeted, and we hadn't collected our property tax yet. So you can see we're just moving along in general, and you can see where our fund balance is right now as of the end of this month. So I think everything's going fine there. Everything else is moving fine. Solid waste is okay. The water fund is usually less than that at this time of the year, just because we're waiting for the water tank, the antenna rental on the water tank to come in, but it's doing pretty well right now. Sewer fund is doing fine. Gas fund is always behind at this time, but we just had one of the best months, believe it or not, since January of 18, as far as the coldness goes, if you want to call cold best. We sold a lot. We sold as much gas as we sold or more than since January of 18. So that was pretty significant. And that's it. Are there any questions about the financials?
Bob, on the water, is the operating expense, is it still moving down rather than depending on the antenna rental?
See, we at this time of the year, we're usually down $30,000-$40,000. Were last year at this time. So, waiting for that antenna rental to come in. But right now we're only down $7,000. So we're doing significantly better as far as our operating goes.
Okay, we're going to try to keep the antenna rental for capital items rather than operating,
Yes, sir.
correct? Okay.
Yes, sir. I think by next year we'll be there.
Okay, thank you.
I think we will. Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Okay. We'll move on to the next item. The expense line item overruns.
Most of these expense overruns are due to, the insurance going up more than we anticipated, and other individual costs that we actually cut out of the budget due to the COVID virus. If you see the highlighted general fund section over here where they're all highlighted in orange, and later on, we're going to look at a budget amendment a proposal of a budget amendment. All of those would be eliminated as part of the budget amendment, and then you would be left with these few utility department line items that would be left over. So anyway, it's just under budgeted in certain areas. And then we've also approved some expenses that we had several of those grants that came in. We approved those grants, and we did a project like in the cemetery and such that we didn't anticipate in the budget. So some museum expenses we didn't anticipate. Anyway, those will pretty much be taken care of. All the general fund expenses will be taken care of with a budget amendment.
Okay, any questions on that? Okay. Item C, capital projects and purchases updates.
Pretty much everything is either in progress, or I talked to Chief about these tasers and these rifles. I think the rifles are going to be pretty hard to find, but the tasers will probably be able to pick those up at some point. But anyway, I talked to Chief about getting on that. And the rest of the stuff we're working on getting going on that we haven't already started on. I did talk to Jeremy today. Jeremy is the captain of the fire department now, about buying some turnout gear. They don't really need it at this point. So he's thinking about purchasing a couple of turnout gear, extra turnout gear for the full timers. So they have 2 sets of turnout gear, which I think they need at this point. If there's a fire and they have a wet set of turnout gear, they can't put it right back on and go back out. But if they have 2 sets, then they have a chance to dry out the first set and so forth. So we're going to try to take care of the full timers. All the volunteers basically have good turnout at this point. So we're working on that, and everything else. You can see where we're going with that. We did get a go-ahead from TDOT to go ahead and start designing the additional work, that sidewalk work on the square as part of this grant we just finished. So we did get a contract extension on that for 1 year, believe it or not. They have until November the 1st of 21 to get finished with that project. Hopefully it doesn't take that long, but anyway.
When would we anticipate starting that?
I don't know. I'm going to talk to Jenny about this and see where we are on it. We're still waiting for all the final paperwork to come through TDOT. You know, TDOT's been pretty slow lately. So I'll see what's going on with that.
Okay. Any questions on capital items? Item D, sales tax.
And you can see we did pretty well in December. December's sales tax represents the sales in October. So you can see where we are historically. You know, it's the best December we've ever had. In fact, every month this year is the best month we've ever had. In those months, so we're still moving along on the same pace we were when all this started back in March. So you can see May's, if you go back to May, that was March's result, and then April's result, and then so forth and so on. So you can see where the sales tax lays there.
How much of that what percentage of that do you attribute to the internet sales, the way they're being handled now?
Mendy did an analysis of that recently. What did you come up with, Mendy? You still there?
Yes, sorry, I was on mute. I think it was a little over 20%.
20%. Wow.
Mhm.
So that basically is, all that growth is basically then from the internet sales.
I think so.
Well, and it was interesting because it wasn't as much as I thought maybe it would be, and I could be.
Well, sure, it's going to change from month to
Yeah,
month,
I mean,
for
I want to
sure.
say it was between 15 and 20% though.
Okay.
I can get that breakdown to you all for the meeting if you're interested.
I'd kind of like to know if it's not
Sure.
too much trouble.
No, I've got it.
Okay. Any other questions on the sales tax? Just remember, if you can't buy it locally, you can order it online and have it delivered and we get the sales tax. Everybody keep
Right.
that in mind.
Which a lot of people did this Christmas, Mayor. I'm telling you.
Oh, I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see
We
it.
bought more stuff than ever online this year, and Mendy only shops online, so she moved to town, so we're doing really well because of her.
Welcome, Mindy.
Well, you know, I'm doing my part.
Okay, good.
There was a significant drop in Oakland sales tax revenue because Mendy moved it. Sorry, Mayor.
Item E, Resolution 01-2021, a resolution establishing payments in lieu of taxes for all taxing jurisdictions for the gas plant.
Right. So every year we have to approve this payment in lieu of taxes to each jurisdiction that we have our gas system in. And this year, the breakdown is as follows right there. You can see what the breakdown is for each jurisdiction. So we approve this and then we can go ahead and let everybody know and send them all their payments. It's about the same for us this year. This is what we made last year off of that.
Okay, and I assume with all the growth in Oakland, that Oakland and Fayette County are actually growing.
Yeah, Oakland actually picked up a significant amount on that. But they have, even though they're probably 51% of the customers out there, they're only about 46% of the usage because they don't have a lot of, well, they don't have any manufacturing there that uses gas in their system. And then they don't have as much commercial as we do, believe it or not. So we have a significant amount of commercial. So even though we're 13 or 14%, we're like 16 or 17% of the revenue. So it's kind of weird how it all breaks out, but.
Okay. Any question? And keep in mind that this is something the board has to approve each year and does not have to approve.
Yes, sir.
Unless we choose to.
That's right.
Any questions on that? Okay. Take that to the board. Ordinance 2021-003, an ordinance amending fiscal year 2021 budget for first reading.
So revenue and expenses are significantly different than we anticipated, just because we anticipated a low revenue and, we lowered expenses because of it. We also had higher than expected. I'll read it to you here if you'd like. Right here, section 1 explains everything to you. General fund revenues have increased due to COVID, increase in local option sales tax and certain state share taxes and grants made available due to the COVID-19 pandemic. We had significant amount of grant revenue because of that. In addition, there was a significant increase in the housing, which has increased our permanent revenue. We also received more revenue than expected in sale of surplus equipment and additional funds from TDOT for 2015 transportation grant. General fund expenses increased due to several factors. The town withheld employee cost of living hourly pay increases due to COVID-19 pandemic, and the board approved those pay increases in December. Health insurance co-pays increased. Expenditures for several grants from COVID-19 that we have to budget for. We have previously unfunded capital projects, specifically the firehouse project and the expanded 2015 TDOT project and the museum renovation project that need to be included. And the purchase of police vehicle computer system, we'd like to move that from the general fund to the drug fund. So those are the reasons why we did it. And you can see the difference in the revenue. This is the original revenue in local option sales tax. This is anticipated revenue at the end of the year, which we're on pace to do 700,000 right now. So a little less than that, than what I think we're going to do. Here's your wholesale beer tax. These are all the revenues. And then all of the line items, the individual line item expenses, which are significant amount of expenses, mostly due to, pay increases that weren't budgeted for. And then, of course, you have the FICA and the retirement due to that, all those pay increases. And then you have all those other expenses because of the pay increases. And then you have the health insurance and other things that have happened since the beginning of the year. So we're taking care of this. And I anticipated that there's no way in the world we could get done with that storefront by the end of this year, at the end of this fiscal year. So I budgeted a little less than what I thought it would cost, but I can adjust that before we do the first reading next week, or I can do that before the second reading.
Okay, could we see a total on what we're doing here?
Yeah, hang on a second. I have to pull up a spreadsheet. Sorry.
Well, but I'd like to have it on here.
Oh, okay. Yes,
so
sir,
that I can see it. I mean, the original, the total original that we budgeted, and then the total after the
okay.
amendment.
Okay.
Because I can see a bunch of figures there, but I don't, I'd
Yes,
like
sir, I
to
can
know
do
what they total up to, especially on the expense side.
Yes, sir. I can do that.
How much more am I approving in expenditures if I do this?
I'll put it on a separate sheet so that we can see it. Is that okay?
Well,
I don't think it needs to be in the ordinance if we don't, but
why not?
Put it on, I don't know. We can put it in the ordinance if you want.
I mean, we just need a total down there at the bottom, it seems to me. Yeah.
Okay.
Add a line and have a total.
Okay, I can do that.
I got a question, Bob, or
yes, sir.
You was just talking about adding something. We were just looking at it out of the general fund. There were some unexpected expenses. Is that going to be included in this amendment here?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's as much as I can project at this moment, anyway.
Okay.
So I put as many expenses that I think we can that I know about now. I put it in this amendment so that we don't have to do this again.
That's kind of why I was asking. I was wanting to make sure that it was just going to be all one amendment and not more than one.
Yeah, just one amendment is what I'm trying to do.
Okay.
Mayor, before I'd said something about the consideration of an additional police vehicle, I sure would appreciate it if we'd consider that in this budget year.
Well, we had planned we had intentions for our retreat, which we'll discuss in a few minutes, but for our retreat, I was going to pull together a list of all the vehicles, what the status of them were, what the anticipated replacements were, so that we could look at all of that at one time, kind of at the retreat rather than doing it right now, if that's agreeable.
Thank you. I appreciate you looking at that.
Well, we can look at, I mean, we need to look at all of that and see where that stands. I think we haven't done that in
Okay.
quite a while. And so I'd like to do that at the retreat, to look at all of our equipment and vehicles and have a listing of them and anticipated replacement, when they'd be replaced and that sort of thing.
Okay, I agree
don't
with
know
that.
if
Thank you.
I don't know if I've mentioned that to you, Bob, so you might want to start.
Mayor,
thinking about that.
I've already got my 10-year projection and all that stuff. You know, I've already got it ready to go.
Well, then,
So I've already got it on my 10-year projection, my famous spreadsheet. If you want me to bring it out anytime, I will do it.
well, not
But
tonight.
it's already on there. I
right.
already updated it for this year. Well, actually in anticipation of next year. So it's
All
already,
right.
yeah.
If we have a retreat, I would like to spend more time than maybe we have in the past on the finances and looking at where we are today, looking at the operating costs that we're obligated to, basically looking at your operating budget and looking again, we haven't, I don't think, done that in a couple of years, about what things look like for the future, operating versus capital and that sort of thing.
Yes, sir. I could pull that together. That sounds great to me. I'm all up for it. I don't know if anybody else's, their eyes are going to roll back in their head at some point because it gets pretty boring, but that's the part I like. So
if it's on Zoom, they can always just post a picture
That's
of
right. They can
themselves and
always-
ignore us. But we need to look at that and see where we
Yes, sir.
stand and look at that some more.
Yep.
Okay, any questions on the budget amendment?
I have one, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Was you talking about looking at vehicles purchased out of general fund or all funds?
I'm looking at everything.
Everything?
Look at all the rolling stock, all the equipment, all of that kind of stuff to see,
Okay.
to get a better idea of, where are we and what are we going to be looking at down the road
Okay.
compared to our operating cost, so that we know, so that we can look at, fire truck, as much as a fire truck costs, we need to know now probably what year we intend to buy another fire truck and what it's going to cost, and look at that compared to our operating expenses.
Yep, I can bring that to you tomorrow. No, I'm only
Well,
kidding, but I've been working on that a lot, Mayor. So I've got that
Okay.
pretty much ready to go, and I can easily get that ready for the retreat.
Okay. Any other questions on that? Okay. Discuss having a virtual board retreat. Do we want to do that right now, or what do y'all, we've normally had our retreat in what, about the first or second week in February? Is that
Yeah,
what we've
the
done?
second Saturday in February is what we've done in the past.
Okay. Could we hear some people's thoughts on, and I don't, if the pandemic gets worse, like some people are projecting, I mean, that could always change plans. If it were to somehow lighten up, maybe toward the end of February, we might actually could have a socially distanced retreat out there in our boardroom, and I mean, in the.
Yeah, we could actually do it out there in the community
really
hall.
spread out.
Spread out in the community hall and have the big
I
screens
think
up
that
there.
would be better.
It definitely would be better. It's just, I think on something like that, we just need to see what's going on though and see what's happening.
Possibly if we waited till March, we might could all get our immunization, and
We could
we'd
just
be
have
much
a party.
safer. Right.
We'd get everybody vaccinated about 3 weeks before that, and then we could just have a party that day.
Well,
That's
I don't think
right.
Sandra needs a vaccine anymore, do you?
Celebrate.
I don't think you need a vaccine anymore, do you, Sandra?
Oh, yeah, I think I do, because they say it's not true if you've had it that you can't have it again.
No kidding. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
that's interesting.
they are recommending that even if you
Yeah.
have had it, that you have the vaccine.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
I've heard you're susceptible up to 90 days after you've been tested negative. If you've tested positive, that you're susceptible of retracting it. I have heard that.
That's interesting.
Yeah. My opinion on the retreat, I'd love for all of us to get together. And of course, I'd also would like to, as Ronnie mentioned, kind of keep an eye on if things are getting worse or things are, how they're, they're looking. And maybe unless we just have to do it in February, maybe wait toward the end of February, maybe first or second week of March. We might could plan just to see how things are turning out with the pandemic. But I would love to see, us get together at the retreat, and if we had to social distance, where we have our board meetings, I think would be great, and be plenty of area to where we could spread out and distance enough to have our meeting. But if it does come down to it and we have to do it virtually, that's just what we have to do.
Any other comments on that? I think we could push it out. I guess we could look at maybe the second, or I don't know what those dates are, but say the second or third Saturday in March. Does anybody have a conflict with that? If we tried to kind of shoot for that, is that a problem for anybody?
Not for me.
Not for me
Sounds
either.
good.
No, that's fine.
All right, well,
I just have a question. Is the reason why we've been doing them in early February so we could go ahead and get maybe some, capital projects going, or like we've been doing our 5-10 year, try to get, the retreat done as early as possible to present it for the budget year? Is that why we've always done them that early?
Yes. And there's just a whole lot less going on in the winter time.
Okay.
Before spring hits
Yeah.
and summertime, it's just harder it just seemed to be easier in February to find a time that everybody could work. But all right, well, let's tentatively plan on pushing that back to like March the 13th, which would be the second Saturday in March. And we'll play it by ear as to whether we can do it in person or whether we have to have an abbreviated Zoom. If that's agreeable to everybody, we can, if you'd put that on the packet for Monday night, if you would, Bob, for
Yes, sir.
approval. Yes,
Mayor,
sir.
if we could receive some assumptions by Bob on these finances and the vehicles or whatever, about a week before, so we could study them, so we could speak to them intelligently and what our thoughts are.
Yeah, let us pull together some of that stuff and get it to you, but even before then, so that.
Oh yeah, man, I can put it together pretty quickly.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you,
Bob. If you'll pull it together, and then I can edit it so that I'm pretty sure I can cut whatever you give me in half for the board, and they'll still have the same amount of information.
I'll
Okay,
just give you two numbers then, revenues and expenses. That's it. That's all you get.
well, we'll do a little more than that, but let's work on that and see what we
Okay.
can get together.
Yes, sir.
Public safety, fire stats.
There's the fire stats. They're getting about the same as usual. You know, our average is 111 calls per month, and we're at 113 this month. For some reason, I'm not getting some broken out stats here for nursing home and doctor's office calls. I'll see if I can make sure I get them broken out. The last 2 months, they hadn't been broken out.
Well, are we still doing those?
Well, that's true. Maybe we're not doing it. I have to talk to
Because
Kel
you know,
about
at
that.
one point, we had stopped doing that
Yes, sir.
when COVID hit, but,
Yep.
so yeah, let's find out if we're still doing those kinds of calls.
Yes.
Because
And I
I know
did not
we
get
had
the,
cut back.
yes, sir. I did not get the response times from Jeremy this month. He was out sick. So
Okay. Any questions on that? Okay, we don't have anything for the firehouse project.
no, they're gonna, they're gonna be here next week to talk about some stuff.
Now, they know next week is the
That, yeah,
championship football game,
I'll make
right?
sure they know. Yes, sir. I'll make
We
sure
do
they know.
this. We're one of these years I'm gonna remember, and we're gonna make the meeting earlier or
Yeah, we
change
could always
it or do
schedule it for the
something.
Tuesday. We can always schedule it for Tuesday, you know.
Who's in it this year?
Yeah, who's in it?
Alabama and Ohio State.
Oh,
Ooh.
man, go Buckeyes.
Wow.
Didn't they only play 6 games this year or something?
I don't know.
I think they played
they-
7.
They
Seven,
got by the skin of their teeth. I know that.
They handled Clemson pretty easily.
Yeah, that's from what I heard.
Well, I
Too
watched
bad.
it. I know they did.
I would have loved seeing Clemson and Alabama playing.
Let's see, discuss additional expenses. So you'll have information in the board packet on both of those.
Yes,
B
sir. And I
and C.
think, yes, sir. Yeah, we'll have a couple of things to discuss about that. And we may discuss it tomorrow. I'll discuss it with them tomorrow and we'll
Okay.
talk about that. Yes, sir.
Okay. Review of police stats.
There's the police stats. There any
Anything?
questions? No,
Looks like we've been pretty good this month.
Yep.
The police department monthly report.
Yeah, Dave didn't have a lot of stuff on there. You know, we just haven't been doing a lot of stuff just because of all the COVID stuff going on. There's not a lot of things going on out there right now.
That sea of blue was wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes, it was very
Yes,
nice.
it was.
It was quite an honor.
It was a very nice memorial service that
Yes, it sure was.
took place behind Peoples down there in the Memorial Gardens. There's a little pond back there and some trees, and it's just kind of a natural amphitheater that they had set up there. And I mean, it was
Mhm.
just, it was sunny. The wind wasn't blowing. It was very, very nice memorial service.
I wished I could have made that.
Good.
Yeah, it was very nice.
Next item is
F.
review ordinance 2021-001, ordinance establishing the speed limit in Glengarry subdivision on second reading. That'll be coming up for second reading, and that establishes it at 25 miles an hour. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes, sir. And that was done by a survey by MTS, a speed survey by
Okay.
MTS.
Is there any discussion on that? Okay, we'll take that to the board. Planning permits issued and inspections made.
We had actually had 2 new starts. Nicholas Place has actually pulled 7 permits now. So the last 2 are not on here because of the vacation times and the, Christmas and all that stuff. But there were 2 permits handed out the next week in December that are not on this list. So they're up to 7 permits right now.
And so how many new houses are going in hedgerows?
All those lots are sold. I think there are 17 or 20 houses going right now that they're either have sold already or are in the process of selling and they're in the process of completing. So I think there were 17 lots. I'm not really sure though, off the top of my head, Mayor.
Okay.
And I know that we've heard possibility of starting the second phase of hedgerows. We may be getting that construction contract in the next couple of months from them. So we'll see what that goes.
Okay.
What is the average that the houses are selling for that new phase off Azalea?
I don't know, Mindy, what do you think? What were they going for? Are they 230 or 250? You
They're
remember?
250 to 300, I want to say.
Oh,
And
man.
they're not advertising them at all. They'll advertise them. They're gone within a week. They don't have
Wow.
any active listings right now. So I'm assuming either they're all sold. I don't think any of them are spec houses. So that one's going fairly quickly. Even in Nicholas Place, they had an existing home sell within a week, and those are selling fairly quickly.
Wasn't that one
Nicholas,
day? Didn't it sell it 4 days?
Yeah,
sold,
4
right?
days.
4 days.
Nicholas Place, they are going for 250, 202 to 250.
Well, good deal.
Yeah.
It's really hot right now.
Sure
Keep
is.
burning. I hope it keeps burning.
Yep.
Okay, code enforcement.
We have some ongoing issues. We had 17 violations total, which some of those are ongoing violations. 11 of them were resolved, and some of the ongoing violations were resolved this month. So some of the things like that have been hanging around for a couple of months have been resolved. So
Okay. Any questions on that? Community Development Director's report.
Yes, sir. We had several things going on. Tammy and I discussed a proposed schedule for the online IT security assessment for all the employees with access to the server. That started in December, and that will be a monthly training where it's, you watch videos and you take quizzes at the end, and then you receive a certificate. That's not only good for our awareness of IT security, but it also will help us get the insurance policy for cybersecurity.
Was that the email I got from the Somerville payroll department?
Well, that's my little thing. We also started our phishing email. So we're sending we're sending phishing emails out to everyone that has access to the server. I didn't want to start too difficult, so we sent out an Amazon email, and then the Somerville
which
payroll,
everybody laughed at, I might say.
Well, I didn't want to get anybody. I still got one person, so
Yeah.
I have not checked the Somerville HR department yet because it's not completely rolled out. Not everyone's taken it, but we have gotten a couple of people. So we are doing
I
very.
got the HR one today. And
Yes,
she
I
just
did
happened to
too.
be in my office at that time. And I said, this
Right.
looks suspicious. Did you send this to me?
Well,
She said-
and always just look at the email. But it's a very professional service, and we are doing much better than the industry average with all of our employees. We've had 2 roll out and everyone's doing very well. So that should make us feel pretty good. Let's see. Our VC3 will hopefully start in January, and that is the server protection, making sure that we're scheduled with that. Let's see.
Which we approved last month.
That's right. And it
Yeah, we
should
approved that last
start
month.
this month, hopefully.
Yep.
We
Paige
did a
Wiley.
collection creation. I'm sorry.
Paige Wiley's meeting
We did.
tomorrow.
And thank you very
I'm
much.
sorry.
We
Yeah.
appreciate Mike hosting that as well. That went very well, Mike, I think, don't you?
Yes, that
Mike.
went very well. And Ron Gantz is tomorrow at 10 a.m. And anybody that would like to attend that Zoom meeting, please attend.
Do we already
Yeah.
have the link on that?
We do. And an additional email will go out at 9 a.m. tomorrow, just as a reminder.
Okay.
And it'll have the link on there, all of that. I attended a TVA virtual site visits class, which was helpful. That's helpful, not that we're going to be showing any virtual sites, but it's just informative to know what they're looking for, what they want to know, what their primary goals, especially for a virtual site, are. We were awarded the property conservation grant of $4,000 for a project total of $8,000. What that is for, that's for the front desk security and safety. That's to ensure all of our assets. We've had one company come out, take a look at doing some custom made cabinets. And once we get those drawings up, we will present those to the board for your final approval. But we do have that working. But again, that's an $8,000 project and $4,000 match from us. Let's see. We do have a new business coming into town, Brewer's Lawn Care and Property Preservation. It's at 12485 Highway 64. So once they start to kind of get open, we'll be visiting them. Hopefully COVID will kind of, I don't know, lessened. Let's see. We did have a business contact TVA regarding Somerville. It's a light industry. They were interested in property on Highway 64, but they were shocked at the pricing of, and I told them, I said, man, we've got some deals right now. You need to go ahead and catch it while you can. They weren't really interested in paying approximately $20,000 an acre, but I think it'll be going for much more quickly. So I will be following up with that industry probably late this week or early next week. I don't know how many employees that they will have, but it is they're located in Charlotte. So they are a fairly decent sized company. But besides that, is there anybody have any questions?
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Planning Commission report, Bob.
Yes, we had a planning commission meeting and we discussed the rezoning of those 3 properties, and there was a motion to go ahead and recommend to the board to rezone those properties. And that was really the only thing on there. It was a special called meeting basically for that purpose. And that's it. Everything else, we didn't really have a meeting at the end of the month.
Okay.
Yep.
We have handled 3F. 3G is draft of the bylaws for establishing the Town of Somerville Art Commission.
So has anybody, Judy, had a chance to review these bylaws?
Yes, I looked over them.
Ronnie, Mayor, have you?
Yes, I have. And the only suggestion I have is that under Article 4, financial structure, there in 6, where it talks about purchasing and expenditures, and it needs to be emphasized there that that all of the expenditures must follow the regular city
Purchasing policy.
purchasing policies and procedures.
Right.
I mean, where it says purchases of 500 or more must be submitted to the town's purchasing agent, I think that just needs to say that all expenditures must adhere to the town of Somerville purchasing policy.
I think
Okay.
that's good,
Period.
too. Mhm.
So just leave that last sentence off then.
No, I think you can stop after all expenditures must adhere to the town of Somerville purchasing policy,
Okay.
period.
Okay.
Because
Right.
I see this group as recommending that, this is what we'd like to do. And then depending on, it'd be like a department head, basically recommending that they buy something, and then it just follows the regular city procedures.
Okay.
I need to ask a question though. If we want to put someone on this commission, they don't have to live in Somerville, do they? They can live in Fayette County.
County.
Right, yes.
That's what it
Okay.
said, yeah.
Okay, okay. Because I've got some ideas and
Yeah, it says or Fayette County. It doesn't say all Somerville.
okay, I missed that part.
Okay. Any other questions about that? Okay, if you'll put that on the agenda
Yes, sir.
with the changes.
Yes,
we
sir. I'll cut that off. Yes, sir.
Looked at. Public Works Managers Report.
This is the manager report. Are there any questions regarding this?
Are we gone to where half the staff is working some weeks and
Yes,
the
sir.
other half the next week? We've done that.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Are we gonna
Yep,
be able to
we're-
keep up with the connections on the gas?
Yes, I think so. It's a little slower right now just because it's winter. So I think it's going to work out okay. But we're going to have to keep an eye on that for sure. No doubt about it.
Well, I'm keeping up with everything.
On everything too, but yes.
Yeah, but
Yes.
we just, with the things we should know in the next 3 to 4 days how bad the Christmas surge is going to be. That should start hitting in a day or two. And we'll know then whether it's really bad or whether it's, and then they're also running tests in Memphis to see if that new strain has shown up, which is between 10 and 50% more infectious than what we've currently been dealing with. So if that new strain is around, luckily, they still think that the vaccine will work on it, that it's not making people any sicker than the strain we've been dealing with. It's just that it's much more infectious, and they would anticipate a lot more people getting COVID. And of course, the more people that get it, the more people in the hospital, the more people that wind up dying. It's about, right now it appears in the Tennessee to be about 5 times as deadly as the flu. One thing about it though, right now, flu in Tennessee is way down compared to what they would have anticipated. So they're thinking that possibly the hand washing, wearing a mask, and social distancing is actually helping with the flu. So maybe that's one good thing out of this.
Well, we have been fortunate to have as many new connections to the gas system as we have.
Yeah, they're building, I believe I heard somebody say that they're starting about 50 new houses a month in Oakland, is that right?
That's what I've heard, yeah.
Good golly.
So, I mean, we've got, we've got 25 new houses going up right now in Somerville.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we're going to be out of lots. Well, in fact, we're basically out of lots now.
We're out of lots right now, and out of all the in all the other second and third, whatever phases of these other subdivisions that are not developed yet, but have preliminary plats on them, we have about another 250 lots that we could put together for people that have already been preliminarily platted. So, I mean, past that, there have to be new developments coming in.
Yep.
So we have probably 60 lots, maybe right now, 50, if you add up Nicholas Place and the Meadows, 50 to 55, something like that, lots right now in there. And that's it, you know, and they're already sold. They just have to be, our Meadows is still working on their deal, but that may be closing pretty soon. So, you know, past that, there are no lots available.
All right.
No developed lots available.
What's going on with the wastewater? Why is it not doing good? Have they figured it out yet?
Well, the micro strainer's down. We have to bring somebody in to help us redo it because it's just not, there's some electronics involved. And we have to get that thing, I think they're coming tomorrow or the next day to get that thing running again.
Is that
Yeah.
thing we replaced down in the pool, down in the lagoon several years ago?
Yes, that we
Okay.
put it in. There wasn't one in there before.
Okay,
Right. So yes, it's just, it just needs a little electrical work,
okay, okay,
and that's part of it.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but we're reporting our results to the state as we go along. So they know about it. They know what's going on.
Okay. UTMS roofing project.
Sorry. Where am I? Sorry. Oh, here I am down here. I'm sorry. Okay, so put together the roofing project. We got an estimated cost of about $60,000 from one of the roofers. And I talked to two separate roofers and we put this specification together here, and I'll show you the actual specification itself. There's the scope of work right here, A through H underneath there. So they're replacing approximately 7,000 square feet of roof with the TPO roof. We discussed a different type of roof, but it really wasn't going to work. Like I said, we talked to two different roofers about it, and we came up with this specification. There will also be a pre-construction meeting on this so that we could get everybody interested in re-roofing that project together at the same time, and then making an adjustment to this spec based on that meeting. So if we decide to approve this, this would go to bid on February 25th and be presented at the March board meeting. So you're 2 months, 2.5 months away from, or 2 months away from having awarding this bid if we go ahead and approve this specification on Monday.
Any questions on that?
And this is in the budget.
And this is the sectional roof that's basically over the offices there. at
Over
UTM now.
over Kara's office and then over the kitchen, and it's leaking pretty significantly. So it needs to be changed. Jeep has been piecing it together for the last several years, but he's just can't do it anymore.
Okay. All right, that'll be on the agenda then for
Yes, sir.
Monday night. Gas reliability phase 8.
So gas phase 8, we're discussing the possibility of getting a new a tap on the west side of our system. Right now we're having difficulty with the demand on that side of the system. We've been working on it over the years. But as development happens on that side of the system, it's becoming increasingly difficult to get gas to that side of the system. So in order to do that, we would be tapping into a separate pipeline system. Right now we're on A&R pipeline, and that we would be tapping into trunk line, which we actually used to have a tap into trunk line. In fact, our original tap in 1955 was trunk line that came all the way through Oakland to us back in the day. So it was abandoned 8 or 10 years ago, or maybe longer than that ago, since we put in the gate station on Lambert Road. But anyway, what we're actually seeking is approval to go ahead and start working on this project, because we're going to have to start talking to Trunkline and A&R about their contracts and reviewing their contracts and making sure that Trunkline is willing to do this and A&R is willing to help us or let us do this. So we have to figure all that stuff out. We have come up with some ideas. If A&R is not willing to play ball, we have come up with an idea of putting a master meter in the middle or something and separating out a couple of pieces. But we'll work on that over time. We just need, I think I need approval to go ahead and get Alton and whoever to help me put this idea together. And it might cost us a little money to do that. I don't really know at this point what, but.
Well, I would think that THAC could help us quite a bit with this.
And yes,
couldn't
sir,
it,
the
Mike?
TAC, I've been talking to TAC also. Yes, sir. So they can help us review the contracts and make sure, and they can work with us on trunk line and A&R and putting that deal together. So yes, that's all. I'm working for them because you just call them up, it's free. They're there. So I have been talking to our gas supply guy who's in Austin, Texas. And I've also talked to Mark McCutcheon, who's in, where's Mark live there, Mike? Up there in Middle Tennessee someplace.
Clarksville, Tennessee. Clarksville, Tennessee.
Clarksville,
And
yes, sir. Yes,
Mark
sir.
said he would help you any way he could, Bob. Feel free to call him.
Yeah,
anytime.
they're more than willing to help us figure this out. And so I just need some permission, I think, to go ahead to kind of approve the concept and allow me to start working on the idea with Trunkline and A&R.
Okay, any
It's just-
questions?
And here's the projected budget, by the way, also. Right there, if we did that without, and this is a projected budget on that project.
Would that be if they didn't agree or if they do agree?
This is just on what they know right now. This is their projected budget.
Okay.
And this is basically connecting the gate station to our gas main, 6-inch gas, high pressure main that runs right through there, down near 196 and on Highway 64, and where we used to have a tap a long time ago. And you can see he has some money in there for negotiations as well. So the more I can do on myself, the more money we can save.
Okay, we'll put that on the agenda.
Yes, sir.
Is there anything else?
Yeah, there is one other thing, Mayor. This estimate from TDOT, I talked about this with you this afternoon.
Okay, yeah.
So TDOT is going to be replacing a bridge down there on 193. We happen to have a gas line that runs right next to that bridge and could be damaged by TDOT if we don't do something about it. So I talked to Heathcote and Davis again this afternoon, Mayor, after I talked to you, to make sure I had all the details on this. So what it is this will not cost us anything, but signing this agreement will allow TDOT to include our engineering and stuff into their project, so that what will happen is We will pay Heathcote and Davis, and then TDOT will reimburse us the amount that we pay Heathcote and Davis for this project. But this will be bid through TDOT, not through us. So we won't have to do any bidding process on this.
Okay,
So
so we
we-
need to put that on the agenda then for
Yeah.
approval by the board to sign the contract.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any questions on that? Okay, anything else?
No, sir.
Mayor, I'd just like to remind everyone again about the Zoom meeting at 10 o'clock tomorrow with Ryan Gant.
Okay, yes. Uh,
Are you sending out invites for it?
Yes,
Mandy will
we
be.
sent, yeah, we sent one out Monday and then another one will go out at 9 a.m.
Okay.
And I want all y'all to know that my background tonight, that I worked hours and hours to get that background put
Well, it looks
together.
awfully nice, Ronnie.
It does. Mindy, my work on that consisted of Mindy sending it to me, so. That's all the different departments and seals for the city.
I heard on TV, Mayor, that they are paying people to stock the bookshelves behind you with interesting books so that when you're at home, it looks like you're smarter than you are or whatever.
I can imagine that.
Because that's what
On all the programs I watch, when I see somebody with all those books behind them, I'm trying to see what they've
That's
got
what I
on their
do.
shelves. I mean,
you can tell a lot about a
Crazy.
person by the books they read, right?
yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Or the
so-
books they have on their shelves anyway.
Can be
Right.
very deceptive, huh?
Yeah. All right, if there's not anything else, just everybody keep in mind that the national championship football game is next Monday night when we have the meeting.
What time does it start?
I think it probably starts at 7,
Yeah.
probably
Probably.
kickoff. So I think it was last year, year before, we had about a 10-minute meeting, I believe, if I remember correctly.
No, I think it was
I
5.
remember that.
I don't
it was
think we're going to meet that this year, but we could come close, Mayor. I'll
Okay,
try to make sure that Ellen or Carrie, whoever's going to be there, will be short
Oh,
and
that's
sweet.
right.
well,
Short-winded.
I think about everything we talked about tonight going forward to the board meeting can just about be on a consent agenda, I believe.
I think so too.
I mean, I don't remember there being anything really controversial or. But anyway, we'll do whatever we need to do next Monday night.
Okay.
Take care of the business.
I can definitely squeeze all that stuff on the consent agenda, and then we'll have Carrie on there or Ellen, whoever's there. I
Okay,
think Ellen's planning on attending. So
all right. Well, we will see everybody next week. Thank
Thank you.
y'all.
Thank
Hey,
you.
Have a good
hey,
night.
Bob,
yes.
would you mind giving me a call when you get a second, please?
Okay. You
All
got
right,
it.
thank you, sir.